Today, I'm going to run you through the most important skill you need to know to progress your own surfing. To do this, I'm actually going to take you guys along with me on one of my training sessions to share with you the insights and the same tools that I consistently use time and time again to develop my surfing, which you can use for your own as well. To do this today, I'm actually going to be running heats and filming these. Each heat will be 15 minutes and have the normal heat restraints which will push my surfing. I'll also score each wave to see how we go. So let's get into it.
And just a really quick 15 seconds for an exciting announcement, but the Glide Surf Collective product is now available for pre-order and will be over the next 2 weeks. Check out the link below to get yourself some products, and I'll speak about that more at the end of the video as well. Alright, so the waves are pretty shocking today, but I thought I would make the most of it. One of the goals that I did have for this year was to progress myself in my surfing, level up a little bit. Just going to try and get out there today, run a few practice heats. Got some important contests coming up this year that I really want to try and prepare for, do as well as possible. And sometimes that makes, or that means doing something that you don't want to, heading out in the trash conditions. So see how we go out there. So the main things I'll be working on out there today will just be the consistency of catching good waves, especially in the terrible conditions. One of the biggest things that I've found difficult in the past is surfing conditions that are really tricky in competitions, making sure you can put yourself in the right position to catch the best waves. You've only got 20-30 minutes out there in a heat, so you've got to be reliable. So I want to make that a big focus for today. The other focus is just making sure that I'm connecting my waves really well. I know that today I'll go out there and I will learn something, and whether it's good or bad, I'll be able to reflect and see how I can improve for the future. Okay, I think it was fair to say that this start was fairly terrible. I kind of kick off, and before I head out, I was on the beach and looking for the waves, and I couldn't really see a dominant peak or anything. I know I surf this wave a little bit, and there's usually a little left that breaks pretty nicely that I was kind of on the eye out for. The plan was to just see and take it as it came, but I get really caught on this sort of fat little section at the start here, which is really yuck. I never like to be in that sort of section, and then it kind of peaks up, and I make my way to the nose for a really short 5, if you can even call it that. Just make a fall at the end. So this wave didn't really have much to offer at all. That being said, on this section here, as I'm kind of cruising into the nose ride, I wish I had been a little bit further back on the tail. I'm in the midpoint of the board and I'm just accelerating a little bit too much. If I had been on the tail, I would have been able to stall on that section, and that section definitely had the potential to stand up if I was a little bit steeper for a nice hang 10 section. So a little bit of an error there, but really just feel like I was finding my feet on that first wave, but I think I'd give that one a 1-point ride. I like this perspective. It kind of gives you an idea of what I was working with out there. It's not very much. But from memory, wave 2 had a little bit more of a wall to it. So let's get into that one now. So for wave number 2 here, I think my positioning on the wave and the board was much better than the previous one. And then I think, the wave selection was pretty good too. The only thing I'd say about the start here is I wish I had come into the middle of the board a little bit sooner so I could accelerate through the white water. I kind of came forwards at the very last minute and then just came straight back to the tail. So might have helped make it look a little better and be a bit more functional as well. And then with this turn, I'm reasonably happy with the turn. Little bottom turn into it, and then I get into it and the wave actually kind of bounces and doubles up a little bit as I throw that turn. Happy with how I carried it through, but I am sitting fairly far back on the tail. I feel like I've just got a lot of weight on the tail, and I didn't really lean over that rail as much as I would have liked to. That may have been because I was a little bit unsteady because of that bounce of the wave, so might have contributed to that there, but overall pretty happy with that. And then the last little part here that I just wanted to mention is I actually lost my board about 10 meters in front of me at the end here, which in a heat scenario is never good, so don't do that. Overall, kind of just had that one little turn. Might give this a 2 or a 2.5. And I think wave 3 here might have been my best yet from memory. kind of do a little, I remember at the start here that I literally thought this wave was going to be a right, and then the whole thing just died flat in front of me. So I think that actually kind of made for a little cool dynamic start to the wave though, with the kind of multi-direction change thing happening there. So I actually don't mind how that looked. Then good nose ride here, but again, I still feel like error in positioning. I should have been a little bit deeper, a little bit higher. That could have been a really nice, if I stalled well, a really nice hang 10 section, nice and critical. Still okay, but definitely could have been a little bit more prolonged and a little bit more critical. And then a little turn here, but I do get bogged up there as well. Definitely think I was a little heavy on the back foot today out there, so something to keep in mind. I think for the rest of this, reasonably happy with how I linked the whole wave up in terms of connecting the waves and trying to be smooth. I was fairly happy with how this one finished, but nothing of substance really towards the inside. Finished it okay, but yeah, might give this one a 4 or something. And for wave number 4 here, good little 10 at the start. That's probably the best nose ride I'd had so far in the session today. So happy with that, I'll take that. And then kind of came through fat little section. And then, I had that stall there. I remember that. I had that stall where I kind of tried to reposition myself in the pocket a little bit more, but the wave just accelerated after that a bit more than I anticipated. So again, really just pretty poor judgment and positioning there for the nose ride. Again, I feel like that could have been a nice little section to peel off on the 10. So didn't really have much more to it, lose my balance at the end. Might give that one a 2.5 or something. So I came into the beach after that and had a bit of a chat to my old man, who's my coach for days like these. And we were just talking about how there were some good little elements to the waves in terms of some good turns, some nose rides, but again, nothing that really connected. Getting a score of substance, I didn't really achieve that goal. So it's definitely something that I wanted to work on. For myself, I really felt like I was overthinking things and not positioning myself correctly. I haven't done one of these little kind of heat drills in a while. And something I often find when I come back to them is just that I'm overthinking, and this happens in a heat sometimes as well. When you do overthink, even if you have, it only takes half a second in your delay to turn or your positioning to throw you off and come out of position. I feel like that was definitely happening out there with some of the nose ride attempts that I was having. When we're in tune with the wave and we're just trusting and going by feel, I feel like it's a much more reactive and a better way to approach the wave, because we're not second guessing ourselves and we're not missing sections because of that. And of course, we can respond to the wave much more quickly by feel rather than kind of robotically thinking about what might be the perfect maneuver or the perfect thing to do in each part of the wave. This is what I think the best of the best do really, really well, and something that I've got to work on myself. The main takeaways we came away with whilst we were talking is to be a little bit more selective and try to connect things a bit more. All right, so coming into wave 1 of heat 2, I remember this one. I thought I'd seen a little bit of a section down the line, so I decided to go, but really just got caught up in the white water, and then it had this bauble-y sort of section to it that threw me off again, which it shouldn't have. And then, didn't really make the most of that one at all, as you can see. So, I don't know, give that one a 0.5 or a 1 point ride. Not a great way to start the heat. All right, so wave number 2 here. Now this was better, so I was happy with this. And I remember I was a little bit frustrated after the first wave because I was thinking I'd just come in and I'd tried to reflect on what I should do, and I caught this wave which didn't turn out to be anything. So I was happy with this, and I was really just trying to loosen up because I would kind of recognize I was overthinking things as well, which is great that the heat scenario, even if I'm going out there by myself, can do that, because it allows me some good repetition or a replication, I suppose, of what I might feel at in a heat. But this one here, trying to loosen up a little bit. Really nice tight section there. I did lose that balance there. I should have been a longer 10 in that section again. A little bit of a theme today. But nevertheless, nice pocket nose ride, which I was happy with. And then I came into a kind of a weird section. It kind of came from fat to a bit steep as I was doing that turn, but I'm still happy with how that turn turned out. And then a little nosy on the inside there, so can't complain with that. And pretty happy with how I put that together as a whole. It's probably the best wave of the day, I reckon, in terms of putting things together. But I was struggling, so I'll be a bit generous and give myself a 5 or something like that for that one. Kind of happy with that given the conditions, I suppose. And then for the last wave of heat 2, a bit of a smaller one. Again, I was thinking I needed to change my approach a little bit because the bigger ones hadn't necessarily been working too well. But came through and threaded a really nice tight 10. I think this here was the best hang 10 or the best nose ride for the day. Even though it's on the smaller wave, the way I kind of sat with stability on the nose and then threaded it through with pace, I think, although it was short-lived, it was probably the best nose ride out there. Threaded the section really, really nicely, and yeah, I just think it was the most critical, so it's pretty happy with that. Might give myself, maybe a 2.5 because it was just a nose ride. And then I was just kind of cruising in on this next one. So I guess to reflect on that a little bit, I think the first thing I wanted to speak about, and I kind of thought about making an own separate video for this as well, but just how important it is in terms of hitting our goals and making sure that we're progressing with our surfing for taking action. Obviously, the waves weren't very good out there today, and I wasn't going to go out. Then I thought, I've got a big year coming up. I've got some contests that I want to do well in, and that's not going to happen if I just kind of do what I would normally do or do what my emotions would lead me to do in terms of not wanting to go out, so not going out and practicing. But even though the waves are terrible, I had 30 minutes out there because I actually had to go and coach some other people after this session, so I was on a bit of a time pressure. And I still got a lot of value out of it. I think for competitively, it's really important for me to do these heats. I think it's great, but even if you're not in competitive surfing, you're not in contests and you're just doing it for your own surfing, I think it's really, really important to make the time for yourself just to go out there, just to give it a go, take action, because we can't always wait for the right waves. We can't always wait to be feeling the best for it. We've just got to go out and make that time available to us, because that's how we take action and take these steps towards actually achieving these goals, whether that be competitive or just maneuver based or anything like that. In terms of my surfing, I think it just came back to, again, the first heat drill that I've done in a little while. I need to make sure I'm not overthinking things. If I've got a good plan set in place, I know I surf best when I'm comfortable and when I'm just going with the flow a little bit. So I need to make sure that I'm trusting my instincts on the wave. In the heat, in the moment, I need to make sure I'm going with how I feel, because if you try to, detect everything on the wave and, as I said before, be a little bit robotic, then it just doesn't work. So it's important to make sure I'm taking that into consideration. The other thing is how good it was to actually get out there and do this heat scenario again. It's interesting how your emotions kind of, even though it's still a free surf, they kind of heighten a little bit as well. I remember paddling out for the second heat there, I was actually caught in like 2 foot of waves, but I was just caught in this little circulating water component, and I wasn't able to make it out for like 5 minutes. I was thinking, what's going on? I'm there's 2 foot out here and I can't make it at the back. This is embarrassing. And also had the time pressure because I had to go and coach, and I was thinking I'm not going to catch any waves, but it's just interesting because that usually probably wouldn't be something that bothered me. I'd just be like, all right, we'll just paddle over here. But in the heat scenario, it kind of, I guess, added that extra component, extra element of intensity. So I think that was good to kind of go through again and feel, and just to help to calm myself down and still be able to surf even if there is a bit of pressure. I hope you guys did find that pretty useful. I think it's really, really good if you can go and overview your own footage like this, whether it be competitively or not. I think it's incredible to pick out certain elements of your surfing, and really, if you can get footage of yourself, I know I've said this on the channel before, but I think it is one of the best things you can do for your surfing. There's ideas in your mind of what you look like and the things that you're doing versus what's actually happening on the wave. And I think when we do step over that line of being able to analyze our footage or get someone to analyze it for us and give us their input, it can be really, really pivotal for your surfing and your surfing development. I enjoyed this a lot today, going through this and being able to pick out what I was doing competitively in a heat. Please let me know if you enjoyed watching this breakdown as well. I know that for my surfing, this is what I need to be doing and going through heats and kind of picking it apart. So if you do find it useful as well, I know that for myself in terms of doing this, it's really enjoyable, really fun, and it's what I need for my surfing. So let us know if you like to sit in and watch in on this as well, because I'll definitely do more of it if so. I really hope that you can apply this to your own surfing. So using these techniques, picking apart what you're doing on the board, on the wave, and thinking about what you could have done differently, as well as how you could have improved the maneuvers that you're doing. It's really, really important. I think we'll leave it there for today. But if you have any questions on this, please let me know, and we'll see you on the next one. So it's been a little while, and we've been talking about launching the Glide Surf Collective for a little while as well. After going through some little hoops and trying to get everything organised, we're finally there. So over the next 2 weeks, as I spoke about in the beginning of the video, we're going to have the original merchandise available for pre-order. It should be sent out over the next month or so. It's going to be a one-man shop to start with, so I'll be packing, getting everything ready and sending it all off. So I'm stoked about this, and I really appreciate everyone who's already registered interest for it. It's going to be an exciting little journey, and I'm really excited to get this off the ground and running. For more information, we do have the link below where you can order the product. We're starting out with t-shirts and hoodies, and we've gone through lots of testing with the product that we're using, so it's really good quality, nice and comfortable, and I can't wait to see what you guys think of it. We've also got an Instagram page, so in terms of keeping up with the business and everything that it's doing there, feel free to check that out and give us a follow. Everything in terms of sending the orders out, and also pictures and everything that you would expect to see on an Instagram page. I'm really keen to see what you guys think of it as well. When you get the product, make sure you send me a photo of yourself in it, throw a shaka, and just I'd love to see and hear how it's all going and how you like it. Again, for everyone who's registered their interest so far, I'm extremely appreciative. If you want to go and check out the website, there's the link below, and that has more information on the business as well. I can't wait to hear what you think.